So Ramon, you told me to go watch it, and I watched it. Apparently, John Steenhuisen gave an interview. He doesn't give many of them, but it was actually an interview of note because for once in his life, the guy actually came across like a human and cracked jokes. He sat down with a, can you believe it? A white man sat down with a black guy, and they just like jived. Had lots of fun, which was great to see. The leader of the opposition apparently actually can talk to black people, which is surprising because according to the mainstream media, I heard he's a racist. But before we go any further on this, just a quick announcement. So Morning Shot is looking for new advertisers. So if you're interested in becoming an advertiser, please contact us at info@morningshot.co.za. That's info@morningshot.co.za. And onto a different grift, because we haven't grifted enough, please do join us as members. So we will be doing a call-in. We will be doing 2 call-ins a month where you can directly call in with us and speak to us live and interact with us online, but it will be confined to members only. So if you join as a member on YouTube, which you can join, then you will get yourself some extra perks and you'll get some more interaction where you can interact with myself and Ramon. You can tell me how boring I am and how handsome Ramon is. But anyway, going back to the interview. So it was
Yeah.
nice to see this guy have this interview.
Just quickly, all of the information is in the pinned comment down below as well. Thank you. Sorry, Byron. On to you.
Yeah, so it was nice to see this guy have this interview. It was lovely to see John Steenhuisen actually laugh. I didn't know the guy could laugh, but apparently he can. And he was actually genuinely funny. But I suppose, in typical fashion, Propaganda 24 couldn't just leave it at that. They had to be killed. They had to be killjoys. So they issued a in-depth analysis, which was like, seriously, I don't know how in-depth this was supposed to go, because it was actually a long interview. And they seem to pick up on one line only, and it says, and I'm going to quote, because they're going to take that long, obviously reprehensible, experts on John Steenhuisen's roadkill comment on MacG show. Well, that sounds very in-depth, but I know you've looked into their comments a little bit, Ramon. What's your thoughts?
So for those wondering what roadkill is basically, like in black slang, a one-night stand, right? And then in response to the host asking, like the host was asking John how black he was. And it's like, if you're black, you understand what is roadkill. And he's like, I don't know, it sounds like my ex-wife, which is a great joke, like a fantastic joke, phenomenal joke. And of course, people took offense, right? And now there are experts that are out there stating how offensive this is. Just a small spoiler, all 3 experts are white. So make of that what you want.
Shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Completely shocked.
Are they by any chance proper libtards?
Oh, worse than that, my friends, worse than that. So the first expert is someone called Terry Oakley Smith. Terry Oakley Smith.
Please don't misgender them. You don't know their gender. You haven't asked them their preferred pronouns.
I do apologize. Terry is androgynous as a name. So anyway, she said that this comment, this throwaway joke about the ex-wife being roadkill, shows just how meaningless Women's Month is in South Africa. I'm sorry, I thought it was the rampant rape and murder of women across the country, but this comment really makes Women's Day meaningless for this particular woman.
Surprised she knows what a woman is.
Or maybe she's a biologist, but and unfortunately she is not a biologist because she owns what's called South Africa's foremost diversity agency. Isn't that a place you wish you worked at? Don't you wish you could be friends? Imagine, Byron, you go to a wedding and you sit down, there's places on the table and you sit down and then you ask the person next to you you've never met in your life. So what do? He says, I'm a diversity consultant. How many bullets would you put through their brain?
I'd leave.
Oh, is that all? I'd go
to the people who hosted it and I'd be like, why do you hate me? Did I upset you?
So anyway, this woman who finds this thing meaningless, makes Women's Month meaningless, she is basically the front runner for the most woke gender trans thing in corporate South Africa and schools this country has ever known, right? And interestingly enough, Terry Oakley Smith is also the ex-wife of a certain Dali Mpofu, who stole millions from the SABC, and is also the mother of Sizwe Mpofu Walsh, who's he again? Oh yeah, he is also a diversity consultant who basically is ruining St. John's at the moment through wokeness. And interestingly, if you look at their front website, you'll notice the white people are owners and strategic consultants and senior consultants, and all the black ones are like part-time facilitators.
Yeah, but
It's
do you
just the
remember,
woke
we
way.
did that article? Do you remember we did that article on NetBank, right? We did that
Yeah,
kind of thing where there was that NetBank moron who went online, and he's like, "Oh, South African businesses really need to be more diverse in their board structures and stuff." And he was basically telling all the white businesses not to be white anymore. Do you
yeah,
remember that?
yeah,
And we
yeah.
looked into who the guy was, and he was like as white could come, working on a board that was exclusively white, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah,
hmm,
all the white ones are
hmm.
doing the work. All the black ones are like part-time, non-executive consultants, like all that bullshit. It's exactly the same story here. So back to the article. So the one expert is basically someone you shouldn't pay attention to. Now, number two is the director of, no, sorry, at Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Consulting and Training Firm Cohesion Collective. And his name is Sibonyanda. Is his name Lerato Mbele? No, his name's Roy Gluckman, another whitey. And,
Another all white board by any
right.
chance?
And diversity and inclusion, education is so important. He obviously does it for free, right? Right? No, my friends. No, he charges between $5,000 to $10,000 to speak about this.
Not even rands.
At
Not even rands.
corporations.
Dollars.
I mean, are you shitting me? I mean, these are the experts, the worst grifters the world has ever known, about a throwaway comment on the most popular podcast show in the entire world, or in South Africa at least. So you've got grifters who do corporate diversity training and racism, and other schmucks who charge $10,000 to speak to you and call you evil because you're white for $10,000. I mean, these are the experts News 24 relies on.
But this reminds me of something. We also in a previous podcast we talked about this around looking into South Africa around immigration, and I still said to you, you sometimes have to be careful when you read all these people are immigrating at record numbers, this country's falling apart. You have to be really skeptical when you read those articles, because when you get to the bottom of the article, it's like, this article is written by this guy who works for an immigration consultant and who you can call for a free consult on how to get a visa to move abroad. You're like, why would these guys say something that would be really neutral, where you looked at it and you would be like, they're not pushing the message. That's their job. The thing that makes them money. But this also reminds me of something else. And it's and I'm saying this directly to Propaganda 24. When it gets through to crime, their expert is always Guy Lamb. You search Guy Lamb on Propaganda 24. Anything to do with crime, that guy comes up. So what does that guy actually do? And we've done this. We've dissected this when we've looked at all the gun control stuff, because South Africa is so dangerous. Which body does he refer to? Right? Think about it. Where the hell does he work? He works for Gun Free South Africa. And he works for the International Studies of Security, which is funded out of freaking Australia. And the guy sits there doing all sorts of bullshit out of the University of Cape Town, living in a gated community in Stellenbosch. But this is always the same wanker they pull out every time to be I'm the big crime guy. I'm going to tell you how to be naughty. Fuck off, man. Do you remember when experts were just experts? What is with this shit? Every expert now that Propaganda 24 gets, it's just such a bunch of freaking morons.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't end there, though, because there's another one. As the research chair's initiative into gender politics at Stellenbosch University, she also was very upset. What's her name, Byron? Do you know?
I don't know. Wouldn't be Sifosili or something, would it?
No, unfortunately not. Her name is Amanda Hoos. Maybe it's Ronaldo's mum. Who knows?
Or wife. It's Ronaldo's wife.
No, it's not.
The DA.
Wife. No. But anyway,
the DA is trolling the leader.
So she said the comments were not funny, but sexist and misogynistic, because the comment showed how normalized sexism was within our society. So calling your ex-wife roadkill is basically normalizes sexism. My friends, let's go see what Professor Amanda Hoos has done with her life. She wrote a book in 2003 about gender and politics. Okay, that no one read ever. And wait, but she was also based at the Rockefeller Foundation in Italy. I'm sure that was a very difficult part of her
Rockefeller.
life. Yeah,
Oh
weird, eh?
shit.
And she's also a
That's like
board
the news
member
then.
of the African Gender Institute. African Gender Institute? I don't know African was a gender. Apparently it is now because it's an institute.
Hang on, isn't that racist?
Probably.
My brain just exploded. You've got a place called the Africa Gender. Like,
African
isn't it
Gender
just racist
Institute.
to call it African? But now it's like due to gender, and like now you're sexist. Shit, man, this is like the holy grail. You racist and gender and sexist and misogynist. I can't cope, mate. I can't
Yeah,
cope.
yeah,
There's too many ologies here.
but now at least we know that the real cause of sexism in this country is a joke on a podcast, not the rape and murder of like thousands of women every year, or the kidnapping of girls or the shooting of girls in gang wars. No. Like the real problem with this country is that there are too many jokes on podcasts, Byron. So we should put an end to that. And to put an end to that, Terry Oakley Smith, the one who's Sizwe's mother, says, you know what we should really do is make diversity training compulsory in every school and corporation in this land.
And just out of curiosity, in putting this regulation out there, is she by any chance offering to give that training? Obviously at a fee. But,
A huge fee. It's
just
so
saying.
important. It's so important that you can only charge a huge fee to do it. I mean, the one guy charges $10,000 to speak about it.
And she's going to do it as compulsory training at every school that she could be booked up at for the next 600 years, because any person with a brain cell that isn't a woke captured libtard would never book this woman for love or money. Freak, if you even met this woman in a bar, imagine trying to start talking to her. Hello, love, what do you do? Oh, don't misgender me. Mate, you'd run. You'd be gay by the end of the evening. You would have no interest in chicks whatsoever. Maybe that's what she's going for, mate.
I mean, Gluckman, the £10,000 speaker of whatever, said men should need to understand what male privilege and what dominance looks like, to understand what violence looks like, to understand what fears looks like.
Does it look like $10,000 talking to people?
Yeah,
just wondering.
I mean, listen. I mean, the inherent definition of male privilege is being paid $10,000 for a speech about gender inclusion and transformation. You could pay the white guy for you to be less white. Like, that is the state of woke grifters in 2022. And we just accept it. Well, News 24
How does nobody see this stuff, man? I don't understand. How does nobody see this shit for what it is? Like, I don't know, man. The world's really got stupid. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah, we're both speechless.
No, we are quite. It's the first time in a while. So if you don't want us to be speechless, why not give us money and advertise with us? Check the pinned comment down below and give money to us. We'll be far less than $10,000. That's for sure. Maybe like 100.
And we won't even call you racist, sexist, misogynist, and all the other kind of isms that go with that for it.
So we have a brand new business plan for this channel, is that you give us money and we create the best advertising for your product ever. And therefore we both make money without ever calling you a racist. I mean, I think it's a win-win there.
I think it's a great win, but I don't think we're going to actually get our ESG scores, are we? We're probably going to fail because we're not diverse enough.
Probably not.
We are two males, and we are both white. But I am thinking about actually getting a different identity. I thought I might try on like an Afro-Asian kind of like identity maybe. And I thought I'd go for a kind of like male-female hybrid. I don't know. I'll invent some pronouns for it. It'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe Barolino. It's a good name. Good, strong zero name.
And you could be Ramondo.
Ramondo. Yeah, that's really androgynous. It's like Terry. Works just as well. All right, everyone. Before we get really demonetized, that is the end of the show. Thank you for watching. And if you want to advertise with us, all the details are in the pinned comment. And if you join as a member, we're going to have our first Zoom Q&A with Byron and I next week. next week, Wednesday. More of that in the members community page. Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.